Hey guys, welcome back. We're in my mom's house, so this is Gretel, and today we're going to be making again another project. So in one of my last videos I did a end of the bed scarf, and today we're going to be making blankets, and my mom has a yarn ball and she's going to be making a scarf. So I really encourage you to make a blanket, even if you don't want to gift one away or you don't need one for your own family, to give one away to the homeless. That's something that I'm going to be working on as well. So we have a bunch of different sizes because you can make the blanket as many, you can make the blanket as long as you want. So today I'm going to be making a 25 across as a living room blanket, and this is a perfect gift to be giving for the holidays. So all you need is your yarn, and so I will link down below what yarn you need. I will go ahead and put the exact. In general, I like to make the holes very tight and less of a loose chunky look, and that's because it's warmer and it holds up better in the wash and it's going to look more refined. So my mom is going to grab her gray ball right there. Pat wants to be knitting blankets.
She's a very industrious cat.
Yes. So you're just going to need one pair of scissors to get this going. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with it, and this is the hardest part. Like I said in the last video, this is the hardest part. So pay close attention, because if you can't make this loop, you're doomed. What you're going to do is create a loop like this, and then you're going to make another loop. So once you've made a loop, you're going to make another loop and push it through. And then you're going to make the size of the loop that you want. So I usually like the loops to be pretty big, so I would say about 1.5 inches or so. And that is your first loop, and you want to tie that off really tight, as tight as you can, because that's going to be the crux of the whole project. So Mom, since you're going to be making a scarf, you're probably only going to need 2 or 3 loops, because this is the width of the blanket or the width of the scarf.
Okay.
So,
did I make that
that's
big?
too big. Yeah, that's too big because your scarf is going to be really small. And what you're going to do is you're going to stick the long piece through, and you're going to make your first loop. And you want to make these loops loose because you don't want it to be too tight. I'll show you why later, but you want to make these loops pretty loose. And then you're going to do it as long as the width that you want your scarf. So just keep going until that's the width that you want. So I'm going to go for 25. So let me start over, because I already lost count. 15, 16, 24, 25. So I've got my 25, and this is how long my blanket's going to be. So now that we've got our 25 across, we're going to push this loop that's at the end, and we're going to push it up, because that's going to start going upwards. Now what you're going to do is you're going to want to place it on yourself, grab your long string, and push the first. So you see how these loops are open right here? There's open loops in between here. There's 25 of them on mine. You're going to push a loop upwards in there. So in each hole, don't miss a single hole. Each empty hole, you're going to push one loop upwards, and they're all going to be the same height. My mom is so savvy thinking of making a scarf out of this, but that just goes to show you could even make a little jacket or shawl or something so easily.
Christmas stockings.
Yeah, you can make so much. Just imagine with these loops you could almost do anything. This is such a fun project because while watching movies or TV, or if my dad's talking, I can just go and make a lot. So the hardest part right now is getting the first row started, because once you move on to the second row, it's going to solidify, and then it's going to be really solid, and then it's going to be a piece of cake from there, because you don't want to miss anything. So it's hard going through the first row because you're trying to make sure you get every loop. Yep, I got every loop. So once you've made it all the way through and pushed all of your loops up, the next thing that you want to do is grab your loop and push from the back and push upwards again. So now you're going to put a loop through each of the loops you've already made and push upwards just like that, and keep pushing through. So you're basically, now we're just moving the blanket, we're moving it upwards. So we went sideways with the loops, and now we're just, every loop is going to be moving it upwards. The main thing is that you always make the loops come from the same direction, unless you want a border like I did with this one where I made a border. Unless you want a border, you want all the loops to be facing the same direction. If you want a border, then you make some of the loops face one direction, and then you switch it once you're done with your border, and that's how you can create a nice look. But for me, I'm going to make these loops tight, and I'm going to make them all come from the back, because this is going to be my living room blanket. And I need the maximum plush that I can get. I've gone down and made my second row, So I'm gonna push it from the back again and move the loop through and push it up. So I'm gonna just keep going. So I'm just about to tie off the first skein. So we have 25 across. So this is what a blanket, that's 25 across. 20 would even work, but it's a little tight, but 25 is perfect to be super cozy and comfortable. 40 is a king size bed. So 30, this is how big a 30 loops across is gonna look like on top of you. My sister's blanket that I made is 20 across, so it's considerably skinnier. So this is what 20 across looks like. This is the bed scarf for the king size bed. This one is 40 across, so this one will cover your whole king size bed. I mean, I can't even get it in the frame. I can't even get it in the frame, but this one is more than enough. If you want the maximum project, you can make a whole big king size bed and it looks super snazzy. This blanket, yeah, it's so soft, yeah. This blanket is really nice, ruffled up at the end. It adds a nice texture, even just sideways on the bed. It doesn't have to be straight across, it can just be slanted, and it looks so good. It looks just like Pinterest. Your bed looks like Pinterest, but yeah. So this bed scarf is great, and the best thing about it is you can always take the last end out and then just make it into a huge blanket. You can always elongate it. My recommendation is 25 across, and I think it's only going to take 6 skeins to complete 25 loops across. So once you've finished one, you just create a knot, a double knot, and then that will enable you to continue on, and you're going to just cut the edges off. You don't know how many times I've had an airhead moment when I'm making these, and I'll knot it, and I'll cut the wrong end. It's not that big of a deal, it just is hilarious when it's happening. We made the first loop, and then we're gonna make the second loop and tie it tight, because the second loop is gonna be super tight. And I made it close to this loop here. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut off the 2 edges. So here, as close as you can, and here. And then that's just gonna fold into the blanket. You're not gonna see that at all. And then you're just gonna continue. So this is this row, and then to make another row, you're just gonna push up from behind like that, and then just keep continuing. And the smaller your loops, the tighter and more, the smaller the loops, the tighter and the more cozy it's gonna be. So I try to make these loops like this, and then it's the perfect amount. And let me show you what this looks like. 25 across is this. So look at what a perfect size for a blanket. It's the perfect size for a living room blanket. My mom is almost finished her scarf. So she's made it a little bit looser. She likes it a little bit looser because it gives it a softer feel to the scarf. And she is going to go ahead and put a fringe on the scarf because she's been working on a fringe. So, I like it more when it's like chunky. It's like too chunky stuff here. My mom's finished her beautiful scarf.
Perfect for a winter night.
Yeah, it's perfect. Oh, I think that came out so nicely, especially under a winter coat. That's gonna look so luscious. So the last thing that we have for this white blanket here is just to tie it off. So at the very end before you tie it off, you're just gonna leave a bunch of big loops at the very top. As I had mentioned in the other video, you're gonna leave a bunch of big loops, and then you're just gonna fold each loop on top of each other. And we're gonna go from this end and just fold each loop on top of each other sideways, because just like at the bottom we basically did a bunch of loops sideways, we're gonna go ahead and do that again. So my mom is just putting each loop sideways. Basically, after you've made the last big loops, you just have to make each loop sideways, and then you're closing off the whole blanket, and I'll show you the end result. So now all you have to do is tie it off.
Put that one through.
Yep. And then you just need to tuck it through. My mom in her chunky knit scarf. And here we have a TV blanket, perfect for giving to the homeless, to a family member, or for your own self and your kids. I really recommend making one for yourself and not just making one for everyone, because I was just making one for everybody I knew. And then I realized that I would like to have one too, so look at how nice that is.
I think it'd be great for a baby shower gift as well, if you have pinks and blues, or if you're not sure if it's going to be a boy or a girl, maybe a teal color. would look really pretty in a baby's room.
Yeah.
It's so soft, so very soft.
As you can tell, Pat is very happy. So this was 6 skeins of fabric, and it created a nice TV blanket to watch television and stuff like that. Hope you guys really like this video. If you guys make these kind of blankets, definitely let me know, because I would love to see your guys' creations. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next weekend.
Whew, getting warm with the scarf on. That's a wrap.
Pat's little paws resting on the table.